Our objective for today, I can summarize data and compute the measures of central tendency. Let's read together. 1, 2, 3. I can summarize data and compute the measures of central tendency. So on Monday, we started with 3 of the measures of central tendency, which were the mean, median, and the mode. Remember that? Then we said that the range was not one of them, considered one of the measures of central tendency, but we still used it to look at data. That's why we included it there, and I asked you to do that with certain data that I gave you. Then from there, we came up with some hashtags, and some of you came up with, no range or whatever the case. Okay? 3 different measures and so on and so forth. I gave you guys the definitions for the 4 tasks that we did that on Monday, which was mean, median, mode, and I asked you also to find the range. Remember that it was behind your Cornell notes, yes? I also gave you steps, and we focused on steps 1 and 2, organizing the data from least to greatest, and we found the mean, median, mode, and range. You guys remember that? Yes, Mr. Q. All right, good. However, today we're going to finish up the rest of the steps. Look up. We're going to identify the upper and the lower quartile. We're going to identify the standard deviation. This one's going to be the challenging one, and I can tell you this right now, that I used to tutor college students or university students, and this is one that they always struggled with, standard deviation. So I need you guys to stay focused while I'm going over this, okay? And then at the end, we're going to summarize the data. So with that said, copy these numbers down. Example 1A. It says, find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data set. 478212242. Copy that. I'll give you a little bit of time to go. All right, so let's do the 3 things that we already know, or the 4 things we already know how to do, the 4 tasks. The first one, or step 1, what do you need to do, bless you, every time I give you a set of data? What is the very first thing? Least to greatest. So we start with 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 7, 8. Bless you. All right. Now that we got that, we're going to go ahead and find the mean. I'm going to write that down here, mean. And everybody remembers to find the mean, which means the average. You need to add all of them. Bless you. Add all the numbers and divide by the number of numbers. So how much is the sum, Jordan? 30. And we're going to divide by 8. That should give us 3.75. You're like, this sounds familiar. Yeah, because we did this on Monday. Bless you. And this is the exact same numbers that we use. Yes. I'm sorry? Let's see. 8, 15, 19, 23, 25, 27, 29, 30. Yeah. From there we go to the median. How do we find the median, everyone? Once we organize it, bless you, once we organize it in least to greatest in order, we go to the middle of the data. Is there any number in the middle of the data right here? No. Therefore, we get the 2 numbers closest. We do 2 plus 4 and divide by 2. So that's 6 divided by 2, which is 3. From there, we go to the mode. We said that the mode is the number that repeats the most, so that has more frequency. Which is that number, everyone? 2. And the last one we're going to compute is the range. How do we find the range? We take the largest number, which is 8, subtract it from the smallest number, which is 1. Therefore, my range is 7. Are we there so far? Okay? All right, so at this point, I want you to put your writing utensils down. I'm going to go to step 3, which is identifying the upper and the lower quartiles. I'm sorry. So before I continue, I'm going to start with that first piece of information that I did here on my data. Look up, please. Writing utensils out. Pay attention. What was this called, everyone? The median. Okay. The median is the one in the middle of the data. So I'm going to label that's 3. And does everybody know how I found that? Yes, you take the 2 numbers, divide by 2 once you add them, right? This number is also known as Q2. The Q stands for quartile. Write that down, please. Quartile. And label this one 3 and Q2. Now, for those of you that remember 6th grade and 7th grade, remember that your teacher showed you how to do box plots or box and whiskers or whatever they called it. You need all this data, which that's where we're heading. Okay. So, who notices now that the data was split into 2 sections? Look up, please. A lower section, which is this one, and an upper section, which is this one. Does everybody see that? Okay. So now watch. I'm going to focus and I'm going to zoom in into the lower part. So I'm just looking at these 4 numbers. Okay. Are they in order from least to greatest? Yes. Therefore, if I was to ask you to find me the median of these 4, what do I need to do? Look at the what? At the one in the middle. Is there one in the middle? No. So that means I draw a line here. How do I find the median now, everyone? Add the 2, which is 4, divided by 2, that's 2. This is known as my Q1, quartile 1. Copy that, please. And you're going to label that quartile 1. This is known as the lower quartile. So far, so good? Let's go to the upper part of the data. At the upper part, we have these 4 numbers. Don't say it out loud. I want you to find me the median for that data and label it Q3. Find the median and label it Q3. All right. Share with the neighbor, see what you got. Itayana, what'd you get? 5.5. Hands, if you got that. That is correct. So we add these 2. 4 plus 7 is 11 divided by 2. That's 5.5. And that's my Q3, also known as the upper quartile. Okay. So let's see. Do we know how to find the mean, the median, the mode, the range? Do we know how to find the Q1, Q2, and Q3? So now, last thing, look up, write your utensils down. I need for you to look at this, the IQR. The home plate's going to be asking you for the IQR. You're saying, what does that mean, Mr. Q? It's called the inner quartile range. Inner quartile range. So look up. What did I have to do first to get the range for the entire data? Subtract the highest number to the lowest number. But now they're asking us to find the range, but of the quartiles, inner quartile range. So you remember what you would do to find the IQR. All right, who said Q3 minus Q1? That is correct. The upper quartile minus the lower quartile gives us the inner quartile range. So therefore it's 5.5 minus 2, that gives us 3.5. Copy that. We'll get there. I want you guys first to know this piece. Are we there so far? Okay. So I'm going to give you now another set of data. I want you to find me the mean, median, mode, range, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the IQR only. Everybody got it? Got it. All right, here we go. Here goes example 1B. You don't have to copy the instructions anymore. Just copy the data set. Here it goes. There it is. 6435251 Copy that and go. All right, let's see what we got. Mean. Karina? 4.25. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Now, before I move on, look up. For the mean, I want you to label, we're going to use this symbol. Look up. Put an X with a little bar on top of it. That's the symbol for mean. And bless you. And just so that you know, for data, when dealing with data, instead of using variables, specifically just for variables, they use them to use as symbols to represent something. And they instead of using the regular letter X, they call it the name of the Greek letter for X. Bless you. So the Greek letter X is known as chi. So label that like this, C-H-I. So from now on, when I ask you for the mean, I'm going to say, what is chi? And you'll give me this symbol, X with a little bar. Everybody understand? Okay, so we're done with mean. Let's go to median. Median. What'd you get for the median, Jordan? 4.5. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Mode. Megan. 5. And range. Eric. 7. How about Q1? 10. 2.5. Hands if you got that. That is correct. How about Q2? Deoni. 4.5. And how about Q3? Go ahead, Diego. 5.5. And now all we need is the IQR, the interquartile range. Go ahead, Monse. 3. Hands if you got that. That is correct. You take Q3 minus Q1, and that gives us 3. All right. So we're done with the easy part. Are we there? Okay, so everybody go like this. Bear with me. Here we go. So look up. Standard deviation. Write your utensils down. Look up, please. Standard deviation. What they're talking about standard deviation is that standard means what number is the average or the one towards the center of the data. Okay? So, for example, if I was to take a survey here and say, okay, what is the average amount of hours spent on home plate every week for you guys? All of you are going to be like, oh, I do like at least 5 hours. And so on and so forth. But if we average it out, we're going to say that students complete about an hour every day of home plate. That's the standard. Does that mean? Everybody understand what I'm talking about? The center of the data. So standard deviation, deviation means how much does it vary plus or minus. So for example, if the average temperature here in the valley during summer is 110, how much does it go up or down from day to day? How much degrees do you guys think? Like 1 or 2 degrees, right? It can go to 112 or down to 108 at times. Everybody understand what I'm saying? That's what we call the deviation, what changes. Everybody understand? So that's what we're going to find right now for data. And this is going to go pretty fast, so stay focused. Now, the symbol that we use for standard deviation is like this. Look up. So instead of me writing standard deviation, I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to write this symbol. This symbol is known as, in Greek, it's known as sum. Now, some of you have heard that word because when you add stuff together, and one of the symbols that you've probably seen that looks like this is also sum. This symbol in Greek is known as sigma. That's why they use it for sum, because it starts with the same letter S. Now look at everything they're asking us to do. Look up. You don't have to copy this. You have to do all this, but do you recognize any symbols inside? Yes, X, which is a number, but what is this one? The mean, or chi. Everybody see that? All right, but to find this before they did the square, how do I cancel the square root here? I do a square, I do a square. So my formula would have been Q squared, the sigma squared like that. So what do we need to do? Find the mean and add all the numbers with their difference of their mean and then divide that, and that's how we get the Q squared or the sigma squared. And then at the end, to cancel the squared, what do? Take the square root, and that's how we end up with that formula that you just saw. You're like, man, that's a lot of stuff, Mr. Q. I know, but instead of showing you the formula, let's do the work. Okay? So with that said, turn the page over. You're going to need some space. Copy this example, example 3A. And then, yeah, don't copy the formula. I'm going to show you how to do the work first. Just copy the numbers. Don't write the information yet. Just copy the numbers and copy this table right underneath. So we have 77, 86, 84, 93, and 90. So what is the first thing we do with that data, Monse? Least to greatest. So here on the column of the letter X, which means the value, we're going to organize this one here. So which one goes first? 77, then 84, then 86, then 93, and then 90. Yes, my bad. I put these backwards. 90 and 93. 90 and 93. The next thing we need to do is we need to find chi. Look up. Chi. Does everybody know what chi means? Tell your neighbor, please. Does everybody know what I mean? All right, so we add all these numbers. 77 plus 84 plus 86 plus 90 plus 93. Total is 430. And we divide by, how many numbers are there? 5 of them. So we're finding our mean, also known as chi. So 430 divided by 5, that's 86. Okay. So look up. Look at the second column. What does it say? Deviation of mean. That means we take the x value, which is that one, and subtract the what? Mean. So we do 77 minus 86. Then the next one is 84 minus 86. Then the next one is 86 minus 86. Then 90 minus 86. And 93 minus 86. All right, next here in parentheses, squared, parentheses, squared, parentheses, squared, parentheses, squared, parentheses, squared. What is 77 minus 86? Negative 9. 84 minus 86, negative 2, 0, 4, and 7. So what is negative 9 squared? 81. This is 4, 0, 16, 49. And now, from there, we need to find the sum of this. Because we need to find the mean again. Everybody know what I mean? So 81 plus 4 plus 16 plus 49, that's 150 divided by 5. And now that's what we call the standard deviation squared. So what is 150 divided by 5? That's 30. Okay? But is that what we want? No, they're asking us for what? The standard deviation. What is this one? Standard deviation squared. So how do we find the standard deviation by itself? That is correct. Square root, square root. So we're going to approximate. This is going to give us plus minus 5.45, or we can round it to standard deviation is plus minus 5.5. And that's all I want you to do up to there tonight. Tomorrow we're going to see how that applies to when we graph the data. Okay? So your home play for tonight. Home play for tonight is found on page For what? 37. There is tutoring today. If I don't see you, enjoy your home play. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.